Okay, this is warm up 10-6 or 10-7, depending on when you have me. Have you copy the work, the words, and then try a set on your own. First word right away, random word is tan. Tan is the first random word. All right, here we go. So ratio problems, finding, missing numbers. This ratio problem with dogs to cats, I have dogs to some number of cats, and then I give you the ratio of 5 dogs for every 4 cats, making sure you make sure the numbers match. So that 20 and then some unknown number of kitties, which I'm trying to find, compared to the master ratio, 5 dogs. So make sure that 20 goes over the 5 to 4 cats. And now the trick is, look at this 5 and this 20 and see what times 5 gives me 20. That's going to be 4. So since I'm timesing this 5 by 20, now I'm going to come over here to this 4 and times that by that same 4, because I'm timesing 5 by 4 to get 20. So times 4 by 4, that gives me 16. And then don't forget the unit, that's 16 cats. That same ratio, 5 to 4. If I have problems with just fractions, you kind of do the same. You look at the two numbers that I give you and try to figure out what you're timesing or dividing. For this one, since I don't really know what I'm timesing this by, it wouldn't really help me to know that I'm timesing 20 by 4 because I don't know what other number I'm timesing by 4. So for a problem like this, don't look at it in terms of timesing. Maybe look the other way. Dividing. What am I dividing down? If I divide 80 by 20, it looks like I'm dividing by 4. So if I come over here to that 100 and divide that by that same 4, it will give me what the other number has to be to keep those two fractions equivalent or equal. It has to be 25. For my next one down, it looks like for here, if I'm going that direction, this one does look like I'm timesing. Looks like I'm timesing by 3, but again, doesn't matter which direction you go, left or right, as long as you're going the same and timesing or dividing by the same. So this one looks like I'm timesing by 3. And again, what am I timesing? I'm timesing this 40 by 3 to get 120 to keep those ratios equal. So knowing that, I'm going to shrink this down so you can see and have you try your first graded set, this one, where I have 40 dogs, 2 to 5 dogs to cats, where I give you 15 and 30 and some unknown number, and then 260 and 100. Try that. Second word is green. Green. All right, next set, next problem. These are what we're looking at today. These are the percent problems where you're trying to find a percent of a number, knowing that anytime I throw the word percent, that's always over 100. Any percent number is automatically over 100. So for these problems, as soon as I give you the percent, you know half of the fraction. You know half of it is going to be 40 over 100. The other half that you're trying to find, just like those other problems these end up being, it's written in order. Whatever is written first is what goes on top of the fraction up here. Whatever is listed after the percent goes on the bottom. It always works that way. So 40% is 40 over 100. I give you the first number 80, so I know this is 80 right here. 80 is 40% of some number I'm trying to find. And then once you get those numbers It's all about the math again. What am I doing? What am I doing from this 40 to this 80? Looks like I'm timesing by 2. So if I take this 100 and I times that by 2, that will give me the missing number in this percent problem. That has to be 200. 80 is 40% of 200. The third word is blue. Blue. All right, another one. Again, if I give you the percent, that's automatically half of what you're trying to find. The other half comes from the order that I give you. What's listed first is what's on top. Whatever is listed second goes on the bottom down here. So for this problem, I have the bottom number of that first, the 20. And again, the same kind of math. What am I doing? This set looks like from 20, from 100, looks like I'm dividing by 5. So if I divide by that same 5 up here, if I divide that 30 by that same 5, that gives me the missing number. That has to be 6. 6 is 30% of 20. 80 is 40% of 200. Again, finding the missing ratio number, but knowing these are now percent problems, where half the problem has the percent over 100. All right, I'm going to shrink this down. Have you try a set that I'm going to grade. So that's the one I want you to try. 60 is 20% of what number? Remember, what I give you, that's the first fraction. 60 would be 60 over some unknown number equals 20 over 100. Again, that's what you have to know how to do. What number is 40% of 20? That is, the unknown number is of 20. 40 over 100. You have to know how to set these up. Again, it's always that order. All right, try those on your own. One last set, 2 more words. All right, when you're doing these, sometimes you do have a problem. There's no neat number. That means you got to forced to use algebra. So here we go. Same problems with percents. So I have 40%. I put that over 100 automatic. The first number, 15, that goes on top. What I'm trying to find, I don't know. That's down here. But if you look at this one, if I divide 40 by 15, that gives me a yucky decimal number. I don't want to be dividing by some weird decimal number. No way, don't want to do that. So for a problem like this, where you can't really clearly see what you're dividing or timesing by, not a neat number, you're forced to make it an algebra problem. Here we go. To make it an algebra problem, put this unknown number over, make it an x, and then multiply, crisscross. These ratios you could always crisscross multiply. And what you get is a simple one-step algebra equation. 40 times x gives me 40x. 15 times 100, I gotta use my calculator because I don't know what that is. So 15 times 100, that gives me 1500. And now to solve for x, the opposite of timesing by 40 is dividing both numbers by 40. And you'll see this unknown number is going to be a yucky decimal number. 1500 divided by 40 gives me 37.5. And that would have been tough to try to get just using the ratio method. All right, one more here, then have you try a set. Anytime I give you a percent, automatic, over 100. Whatever I list in order, whatever is listed first is what is on top. Let's try to do that a little bit better. Whatever is listed or asked first, whether it's a number or what I'm trying to find, that's on top. Whatever's after the percent goes on the bottom. It always works that way for these problems. So here we go. I don't know what number that is up there. I'm going to make that an X for this one. And then I know that this 45 goes right here. And again, this is another problem. The second to last word is fish. Fish. This one is tough because it's going to be a yucky decimal. Dividing 100 by 45 looks like I'm dividing both by 2.222. Oh, no, don't want to do that. That means make it algebra problem. Put it, that unknown, as an X. Crisscross multiply, knowing that anytime you multiply times an X, you write it 100X, and then you always have an equal in the middle, and then you times these two numbers to get the next number. 45 times that 30 gives me 1350. Opposite of timesing by 100, dividing both sides by 100, and that will give me what this missing term number is, a little bit tougher. That is 13.5. This one is 37.5. All right, I'm going to shrink this down, have you just try a set on your own to kind of show me that you're thinking before I even show you these. All right, try this set on your own. Last word is dog. Dog. Good luck. Talk to you in a bit.